Thank you, Chancellor, Vice-Chancellor and the University of York for this enormous honour bestowed upon me today. And thank you so much to the wonderful Martin Suckling for that far too generous but deeply personal and considered introductory presentation. I'm so grateful to you. Thank you so much. And please allow me to extend an enormous congratulations to every single one of you graduating this year. I would be saying congratulations to you all any year at any time, but of course this year is unprecedented and has had so many challenges. So I want to say a particular well done to all of you for getting through it. Usually I would be standing here seeing you all and hopefully meeting some of you too, but of course this year that is not possible. So I'm here dressed appropriately and accordingly and just want to share some brief insights and thoughts with you on things that I have learned in my experiences as a touring performing violinist. But first I want to start with the truth, which is that I never attended university, nor did either of my parents. Having started violin at the age of 4, not remembering anything of life before the violin, and moving to a specialist music school when I was 10 years old, and spending anything between, when I was 4 or 5 years old, 30 minutes a day practicing, to, by the time I was a teenager, up to 5 or 6 hours a day practicing. I actually left formal education at the age of 15 and pretty much instantly started playing and performing for actual audiences. And for that reason, I want to tell you that I have both an intense admiration and an intense envy for the experience that you all have had and some of you will continue to have. So now I'd like to share some thoughts and ideas with you. The first being how we learn. We all hear all the time about the fact that information and education is a privilege and a human right, and it's upheld all over the world as a key to a deeper, more meaningful existence, or perhaps a more successful life, a better job, continued development personally and collectively. But a thing like information and education does not just exist on its own. Its existence comes into being when you interact with it. Those pages and books and your lectures and papers, they are static, and only when you absorb and interact with them do they ignite and become active. So I want to share with you one of the biggest realizations that I have had over the last couple of years, which is that the quality of how you absorb what you hear and how you absorb what you learn is much more important than the quantity, or even necessarily than the subject within which you receive your education and information. Because the deeper question of how you absorb that information leads you to the quality of the lesson that you are learning. Lessons such as how can you express yourself and listen carefully at the same time? How can you balance being relaxed and calm and confident with being humble and eager to learn? How can you work hard and be disciplined without being totally socially absent? How can you be ambitious for yourself but maintain integrity towards other people, never cheat people, and also act in the best interest of those around you? I want to advise you all to leave space for yourself to grapple with the largest and hardest concepts that there are to learn, because those largest concepts exist in every single area, in every single subject. Leave time and space to develop your internal life and internal health, the health of your thoughts and the health of your consciousness. So be present. Don't try to hear and learn all things at once. The quality of one significant thought or realization will have more impact on you than a million others put together. So be present, be patient, and allow those big thoughts through what you learn and through what you're taught come to you. The second one is once you know what you're doing is something that you have love for, push yourself to the limit with that thing. Be willing to push yourself to serve an apprenticeship to those more experienced than you, to practice respect and deference even when you don't feel like it. We all know that feeling. To sacrifice and to really feel sacrifice in time, in effort, in dedication, and be okay with being uncomfortable and put up with those hours, being awake day and night trying to make a deadline or complete a project or bring into focus an idea. But I started by saying, once you realize it's something you love, because energy does not work in a finite way. The thing that you love feeds you with energy, and therefore you can put into that thing more and more energy. So have the space and the presence of mind to find that thing you're passionate about. And once you feel that, absolutely go for it. Push yourself to the limit. The third thing I want to say is to quote my dad, who would always say that life is about people and business is about people. Sounds like a very predictable phrase, but if you think about it, we develop skills, we absorb loads of knowledge, we think the quality of our work is the only important thing. But having been traveling and performing since I was 16 years old and been in an industry for that long, I can tell you that personal connections and relationships not only are vital to your well-being and your happiness, but they are vital to you doing the best possible job that you can. And for you to have increased meaningful success in your vocation, relationships are going to be vitally important. So cherish them, never take people for granted, be polite and kind, and listen to what people have to offer you and to give you. The fourth thing I want to share with you is that we are not always right. I think there is an unbelievably wonderful, active optimism in youth, in our younger years, and it's an incredible thing. But it can, and we are all aware that, especially online at the moment, there can be accompanied with that an intolerance of another perspective. We are so sure we're right that we cannot fathom that another perspective so far away from our own could possibly have any weight to it. I'm now 33. No, I'm not old, but you know, I'm getting on. I can tell you that the things I was so sure I would never change my mind about when I was 21, I have learned to be a lot more open-minded about different perspectives. So try not to shoot people down too quickly and give people the benefit of the doubt. The fifth one is to embrace your own individuality and creativity. Now, I know you have all read a lot and studied a lot over the last few years, back to that envy that I have of the experience that you've all had. But I can tell you that now is when your real education begins. Now is really the time to look and listen with the most open eyes and ears, and to try to consider being in, this seems like opposites, but being in a passive yet active position of observing and absorbing not only what's around you, but also observing and absorbing your own thoughts as they come to you, and your own genius and your own creativity. You all have something to contribute, and you all have something to give, and never let anybody make you feel otherwise. The world that we live in now has an unfathomable amount of structure in it, and an overwhelming number of do's and don'ts, and acceptable things and unacceptable things. We all need to work hard to find our own individuality within these structures. So embrace your individuality and your creativity. And the final one is to address this moment in time. Of course, we are surrounded by, on a daily basis, a bombardment of unbelievably negative projections into the future of no jobs and economic crisis, and of course the health crisis that we are all undergoing. But I want to say to you, as an army of young people, to see every single moment as an opportunity. That's not to say be opportunistic, but see every moment in your life as an opportunity, because so often in history, out of nothing, the most unique and creative ideas were born. Now is a time for that outside of the box thinking to come into focus. And it's always scarier to not fall into an already trodden path. It's always scarier to be doing something for the first time. But the unknown element of that thing is also part of the fun. So try to embrace that idea as much as you can. Look at the problems you see in the world. Look at the problems you see around you and try to find ways to solve them and to help people. And perhaps you can try to work out how to make some money along the way too. I just want to close with saying that I will, of course, follow the work and progress of this wonderful university. I look forward to seeing what all the graduates of 2020 will go on to do. It's been fascinating learning more about York University during this time, and I want to end with an enormous congratulations to each and every one of you, and another thank you, deep, heartfelt thank you for this honour. Congratulations, everyone.